which head coach you think needs this win more?
I'm going to say it's actually Kalen DeBoer. There's a world where FSU's competitive in this game, and you lick your wounds, you get ready. It almost validates that, great, we're not going to suck.
What is up, everybody? Thanks for joining us on another edition of Crain & Company. Got another fantastic show. Usually David Cohn is here as well, but since Michigan's football program didn't get punished really at all by the NCAA, we're punishing him by not allowing him to be on this Alabama-Florida State preview and prediction show. Blaine Crain, former Western State Colorado wide receiver, and this guy's everywhere right now. You can find him on the Josh Pate College Football Show. He's Hansel right now.
He's Hansel and he's hot.
Josh Pate College Football Show, ESPN, Bustin' with the Boys, HGTV, Telemundo. He's everywhere. Our buddy Josh Pate. JP, what's up, buddy?
Welcome, Josh. Welcome.
Congratulations, my friend. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm working on an expose for Southern Living. So you guys know. They don't know it, but just so you guys know. Hey, good for us, by the way, for having the backbone that the NCAA never had, doesn't have, and that empty chair there. I think it speaks volumes. I think it says more than we could ever say about the modern state of cause and effect, actions and consequences. So I miss Cone, but it's does this hurt us more than it hurts him? No, it does not.
No. Look, sometimes it's for the good of the realm. Sometimes you got to make self-sacrifices. And look, at the end of the day, he's pulling a Sharon Moore. He'll be here for some of it, won't be here for all of it.
Yeah.
But Josh, I want to start with this Alabama-Florida State game with you, and we've previewed it. Today we're going to make our predictions. We're just going to get a feeling out of where you're at right now. I know you're not going to make a true prediction yet, but when you look at this matchup, a lot of people last year, and we talked about it before the season, and DJU deserved a decent amount of the blame. I think some people overhyped him. His ceiling wasn't nearly what some thought. And he was a problem for Florida State. But I thought the biggest problem was on the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball. DJU was not at fault for Florida State getting pushed around in the front seven and letting teams like Georgia Tech and Boston College and others run all over them. And when I look at this matchup, even if Florida State is twice as good as they were last year in the front seven, I don't think it's going to be enough to slow down Alabama and put Ty Simpson in a position where he's got to throw Bama to a win. How do you feel about what FSU's done on the line of scrimmage? You can go both sides of the ball, but start with the front seven for me.
Well, they did what they had to do, obviously, so they brought in a bunch of new pieces, but I hone in on the offensive line. I think they're rolling out 5 starters from the portal. I think that's what they have on the line. It's either 4 or 5 new pieces. So, there's this fantasy world where they hit on all of them. I don't think that's the real world that we live in. And even if they did, is that unit gelled as one by week 1? And you've also got a new offensive coordinator and sort of a new system. To me, like I did this little exercise last night. I was trying to visualize the cattle prod theory, as I call it, which is you've got things you think about all these teams. And then college football week 1 always has this thing go terribly wrong for some team. And it's like halftime. And already the things you thought for 6 months have been thrown in the dumpster. So like, how would that happen in this game? And to me, the way it would happen, to me, the way FSU would have a chance to win this game and, be there in the fourth quarter is Bama has to struggle with the mobile quarterback again. Like Tommy Castellanos has to play like it's a 1-game season, throw caution to the wind, play like Haynes King played against Georgia last year, where it's just, I don't even care what happens to me. I'm just going to throw my body in there, throw my heart in there, throw my soul in there. And if that were to happen, and Florida State's like 9 of 14 on 3rd down or something like that, there's a path. There's certainly a path, but there's so many more paths where I see it going the way you're kind of leaning there. And maybe Florida State even comes out hot, because it is Malzahn. I talked to Kane Womack in the spring. He said, we're going to have to carry a lot into that game defensively because we really don't know what we're going to get. So there is a shot that you get popped. Remember, FSU popped Georgia Tech on the first drive of last year's week 1 game. And stupid people right here popped off on Twitter a little bit, said, Florida State, baby. There it is. There's the validation. And it was all downhill from there. So Florida State, they could do that again on an opening drive kind of deal. But once that game settles in, once the game script finds itself, man, I got a tough time thinking that they're going to hold up on the line of scrimmage.
Well, I mean, JP, a lot of it, and this is what we try and tell people on the show, is you can get fooled by that first drive because it's on script. the game doesn't start to get played until you go off script. You can't script the whole game. It's like when you play the NCAA video game and the plays you always use work on the first drive, but then the opponent adjusts to it. Now you've got to start going and reaching in the bag and doing things that you're not comfortable with. To the point about Castellanos and the talking and the trash, this, that, and the other, at the end of the day, it helps with preparation. Once they're on the field, you're just playing the game. I just wonder if you're Gus Malzahn and you're calling plays, and obviously you're trying to get into your 3rd and 4s and 3rd and 3s and 3rd and 1s. How aggressive are you down the field on first down? And then how can you manage Castellanos' health and not run him into a brick wall 20 times in the first half? Because the last time I saw Alabama play Florida State, they picked up DeAndre Francois and broke him into 9 pieces like Mr. Potato Head. So if Florida State and Gus Malzahn want to sit here and run Q power for the whole first half and power read and zone read and the quarterback keeps it, I don't know if Castellanos makes it to the end of the game, Josh. I think you got to pick your spots if you're Gus, when you're going to call it and when you're going to say, hey, you need to be smart. We got to let you get through the game. And hell, the rest of the season, man.
All the points are sound. I think that's the only shot they have to win the game. So if you're trying to win the game, if you're trying to keep it close, okay, whatever. Like if you're trying to win that game, though, I think the game plan is going to call for him to play a pretty brutal, violent version of quarterback in this particular game. Now, they don't play 11 more Alabamas. So your thinking is play this game like, I don't have their schedule in front of me, but they don't have another quote unquote big game for a few weeks. Yeah. And so that's kind of how you sell it. You got all camp to build up for this. We're going to ask you to do something very, very extraordinary on this day. We'll probably not ask you to recreate this particular game script the rest of the year. And if you're comfortable with it, let's do it. You've been running your mouth to the degree that I assume you're comfortable with it. See, if I'm Malzahn, that's where I use that. And I say, you've been very vocal. I appreciate that. Do you mean it? Because if you mean it, here's what I want to do with you on this Saturday. And if you're down with it, I think we may be able to hang with them because that's how I've done it in the past with other quarterbacks. I don't trust them throwing the ball against that Alabama secondary at all. Don't trust it at all. That is a -2 turnover first half, game gets away from you sort of formula to me.
Well, I have Cone's question here, and Josh, I don't know if you know, but my brother did pick Alabama to win the national championship, so congratulations to you, Jake, you coming on the other side of it. I know your wife had nothing to do with it.
She didn't have anything.
Josh, this game's sitting at 13.5, favored to Alabama. Do you think there's that big of a talent gap? Or do you think Vegas right now sees it as, look, Florida State's in a rebuild year, but if you really look at this Florida State team, everything they got out of the portal, it's not bad. I think 13.5, to me, that's a lot of points. A lot of points. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I think that they're factoring in that number the possibilities that the game totally gets out of hand. You know, I always looked at a point spread as simulate the thing 100 times and throw all those results in a blender, pour it out. There's kind of your point spread. And then the public hammers the market out either way. But there's a game here where FSU wins 31-28, but there's some 42-13 Bama wins in there as well. And so you got all that factored out. I think the number's pretty fair. The thing I think about, I haven't placed a wager on this game yet, but what I thought about is taking Florida State first quarter, because if they're going to have any success, it will be early. And then as soon as that happens, if it happens, dumping money live on Alabama, because you're probably getting Bama -9 or -8.5 at that point. So I think the number's fair because as much as you talked about the talent, like I went and watched Bama scrimmage 2 Saturdays ago or last Saturday, whatever it was. That's a bunch of talent. It's a fully formed team. Yeah. Most to all of those guys have played together now multiple years. They've chosen to be there, blah, blah, blah. And they're really good. And what they've done, like I went and talked to Mike Norvell in the spring about this, and he admitted to his credit, we went and got a lot of high-level production out of the portal 2 years ago. That's why we won. We may have gotten a little bit arrogant enough to think we could just go get any talent that hadn't proven itself yet, and we would let it prove itself here, and that's when they were dead on arrival last year. So they reverted back to trying to go in and get proven production again for this year. But it's still a new team. It's still a new collection of guys. If I had Bama in week 4 coming in there, like if this was the Penn State situation where you open with 3 tomato cans, Oregon's coming in like a month, that may be different. But that is not the deck of cards that we've been handed here.
Guys, from personal experience, starting a podcast, it can be overwhelming. Kind of like when your in-laws and your side of the family has to come for Thanksgiving.
Oh,
We all know how overwhelming that can be.
Alabama.
You got scripts, you got setup, filming schedule, logos. We were trying to figure all of it out, but we found out when you're launching something new, your to-do list grows daily, and finding a tool that both helps and simplifies, that can be a total game changer. And for millions of businesses, that tool is Shopify. Make that noise, Blaine.
Chishing!
That was a weird way to do it, but it worked.
Wow.
Shopify powers
Wow.
millions of businesses worldwide.
Wow.
And 10% off US e-commerce. Starting out is simple. Just pick one of their hundreds of templates and customize it to match your style. No design skills needed. You want to create content? It's where the AI shines. But the best part is how easy marketing becomes. You can reach your customers wherever they are, whether they're doom scrolling through social media or checking their email. And behind the scenes, Shopify handles everything else: inventory, shipping, returns, all those details you don't want to worry about. So if you're ready to sell, you're ready for Shopify. So turn your big business idea, David, into
Cha-ching! We rich!
that's how we do it right there. David's from the streets. If you
What
didn't
is
know.
that?
With Shopify on your side, sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/Crain. That's shopify.com/Crain.
Well, let me ask you this. Which head coach you think needs this win more? It might be Kalen DeBoer by a little bit. Kalen DeBoer or Mike Norvell. I think it's close as it can be.
I'm going to say it's actually Kalen DeBoer.
See, I
Because
agree
there's
with
a world where FSU's competitive in this game, and you lick your wounds, you get ready. It almost validates that, great, we're not going to suck. We're actually a competitive, hard-nosed team. A lot of folks will lose to Alabama this year. That's okay. It's not a conference game either. So we'll regroup. And we've got, I think there's like 2 or 3 games before they really play their next big test. It's like a whole new season at that point. No one expects Florida State to win the game. Yeah. Everyone expects Bama to win the game. Out of their top 5 games of the year, no one would even list this as one of them. That probably just made it in an FSU hype video out of context, by the way. So, dude, that's the sledgehammer. Like, that's the cattle prod. If Bama goes down there and someone texts you and it's one of your buddies and you're locked in on any of a number of games and they're like, are you seeing what's happening in Tallahassee? And you turn over and it's 27-21 FSU and Bama's got to drive with 8 minutes left to win. That is like you're spaced out of your mind. You're so shaken, you're not even mad. You're like, I just predicted them to win the national championship. They may not get out of Tallahassee week 1. That's kind of how folks felt watching FSU last year against Georgia Tech in week 1, albeit in another country. But that's kind of that feeling. You had Nick Saban say, I think this team's going to win the ACC. I think it's the best talent roster I've seen. Dude, they can't beat Georgia Tech.
Yeah.
So it's just dead on arrival. So I think DeBoer needs to win more.
And right now, Florida State's schedule after Alabama's East Texas A&M, didn't even know that was a team. Kent State at home, at Virginia, and then you get Miami.
Something else, Josh, that I've been kind of intrigued to see, because we've talked about some of these teams last year that we expected the offensive lines to be dominant when we're talking about the run game. And 3 of them just off the top, LSU, Alabama, and Georgia. And neither one of those 3 were anything close to dominant or what they should have been when you look at the personnel and the talent that they've had. But I've been making the argument, I think this year, the reason Alabama's run game is going to be better is because the balance of the offense, because of Ryan Grubb and Ty Simpson's ability not only to throw the ball, but be fine with taking the check down, be fine with taking the underneath. Because it got to a point last year against Alabama where it was like, stop the run. Yes, they have Ryan Williams, but stop the run, and that includes Jalen Milroe, and make Jalen Milroe throw to beat you. I actually think Alabama will be able to throw to beat you this year, which is going to open up the run game for them. That's one of the reasons why I picked them to win the national championship, because I think this offense is going to be balanced again, which balance is deadly. Do you agree with me on that point?
Wholeheartedly. Yeah. I mean, it was on display when I watched him last week. I fully trust him throwing the ball. A great decision maker. They've turned it over like 3 or 4 times all camp. They've been fine there. They, I think, will have a lot more balance offensively. Now, you still got to do it. You can be committed to it, but you still got to achieve it. But I'm going to tell you something else. They got a really good receiving core. They've got a really good offensive line. Once Miller gets back, I think they've got a plenty good enough stable of tailbacks. Until then, it's kind of wait and see for me at the running back position. You know, they're going to be at 3 or 4 times this year where they need to convert and nothing's there. And Ty Simpson's going to make plays with his legs, and everyone's going to be surprised by it because no one thinks of him as a dual threat guy. He's not dual threat like John Mateer is, in that it's truly part of his game.
It's built in.
Yeah. I was told by one of their defensive guys in the spring, the sneakiest part of his game is his legs, because you're never thinking about it. And he always pops us with it. So I'm watching him in the scrimmage. He actually ran like 30 yards for a touchdown on a play like that. It's 3rd and 2, it's 4th and 2, and everyone forgets about the quarterback. I could easily see him having, like 330 yards rushing this year, but it's 4 huge plays that turn their season one way or the other. And so the entire concept you're mentioning there, more balance, more dynamic, more ways to beat you, is actually why I believe in them as a team against FSU and beyond.
100%. And it's, Josh, I'll tell you from personal experience, there's nothing that rips your guts out more as a defensive player, a coach, or really a player on a team where you lock Alabama down on 1st down, you get them in 2nd and 8, you lock them down on 2nd down, you get them in 3rd and 7. You know it's a passing down, you're running 2-man, you're running cover 2, you're running Tampa, whatever. And then all of a sudden you got everybody locked up, and the quarterback that's not a great runner but a good runner squirts out up to. I used to watch Carson Beck do this all the time, and it'll make you want to throw up because Carson Beck looks like he's running with a refrigerator on his back. But and Drew Aller is a little bit the same way. He's got that goofy acidness when he's running that kind of works, and they get the 1st down. It just rips your guts out. And if Alabama does that, they're going to be really, really tough to stop. So, Josh, I know you're not going to make a prediction here. I just want to ask, I'm guessing you're probably leaning toward Bama. I don't want an exact score or anything, but are you, as of today, leaning toward Alabama?
Did I not sound totally 50-50 on the fence? Yeah, I think I'm slightly.
No, you sounded 60-40. Yeah.
I'm just ever so slightly over here. If that's Bama, I'm ever so slightly leaning Bama.
Yeah, well, I'm fat kid on the seesaw.
It's just crazy to sit with 2 guys who picked Bama to win the national championship.
Yeah, Josh, you picked Bama to win it?
I need 30 seconds here. So, yesterday.
Go ahead.
I've built it up. This is my national championship prediction show. It's going to be live Thursday night. No one knows what's coming. And so you know how it is when you're sitting in the studio, 30 minutes, 25 minutes, 20 minutes, building up to first of show, and you're just kind of scrolling Twitter. Oh, look, Jake Crain, national championship prediction. Oh, he's going with Bama just like me. But let's see who he picked for the Heisman. Oh, he's going Mateer just like me.
Mateer? Hey, I'm telling you, my mouth.
Hey, look, great minds think alike.
We're my mouth. And we did not tell each other. We did not know. Nobody
they called each other. Don't be fooled. They called
stop
each
it.
other.
Just because you have a mustache and wear a gold chain doesn't mean you know everything. That's nobody.
Good God.
Nobody knew that. I didn't know you picked Mateer to win the Heisman.
I can't believe people think it's bold.
I can't either.
I really am firmly convinced that a lot of the country hasn't watched him play football. And they've watched a couple of practice highlights. He's got like a Brad Klontz submarine arm release, and they just think, no, he can't do that. I promise you he can. I promise you he's a stud.
No, he 100%. Who do you have Bama beating in the Natty, Josh?
Oregon.
Okay. I got Clemson.
Yeah.
Oregon making.
Yeah, 11-1. He's got Oregon 9-3.
That's my Washington sneaker. So here's my prediction, exact score for the Bama Florida State game. Like I said, fat kid on the seesaw. I don't even think it's going to be this close. I got Bama 34-13.
Damn, that's
I got 34-13. I've got at halftime, let's say, give me 20 to 3 at halftime. I don't think Florida State scores a touchdown in the first half.
Well, you definitely look like a fat kid on a seesaw. I'm going to go Alabama 31, Florida State 17.
So they covered the 14.
Yeah, they
covered the 13 and a half.
Close.
That would cover the. Josh, instant reaction, 34-13, 31-17. What do you think?
Both of those have a chance to be competitive games. Your score was what, 34-13?
34-13. Yep.
Yeah, so that could be 34-3 midway through the fourth quarter and some garbage time points scored to even make it look close, or it could be 20-14 and Bama goes pick six and then kickoff return in the fourth quarter late, and it's like you're finding yourself saying this game was a lot closer than the final score looked. I think a lot of that determines how people are talking about Mike Norvell in that scenario, like after a 34-13. Yeah.
Yeah, especially if you get dominated in the line of scrimmage. That's where I know a lot of Florida State fans are worried. Josh, again, congrats on all the success, man. Really proud of you. Couldn't happen to a nicer dude. You deserve all of it. Tell everybody where they can find you, and thanks for coming on again, man. And I'm so, we've got week 0 out of the way. We're headed toward week 1. We just appreciate you coming on, man.
Man, it's going to be great. I don't know. Go to the YouTube channel, Josh Pate's College Football
Yes.
Show. It would be arrogant and it would be obnoxious for me to list the other places. So just go to the YouTube channel.
Yeah, for sure. Well, again, I can't wait for that piece in Southern Living. It's going to be great. Josh Pate, thanks for joining us. Thank you guys for joining us. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. And like the chances of me not taking Bama to cover the spread, we're going.
Oh, we know.
Oh! Maybe
Pretty good
catch of the year.
That's pretty good catch.
Over the
That
laptop.
was a pretty good catch. I'm not
Yeah,
gonna
you
lie.
saw it. You saw it.